Before becoming a believer, when I reflect on those days, I was certainly adrift. Adrift philosophically, I was adrift morally. I saw no purpose in it. I saw no truth in it. I just walked away from the church. Probably my first experience in sailing was with a friend of the family. We were at our summer cottage in Newfoundland, and I went with him, and I thought it was kind of slow and boring at the time. But there were parts of it that still intrigued me. And then when I went to military university in Quebec, the university had a sailing club. I became a member of the club and started sailing up and down the Shirley River. And that's kind of where I really started enjoying it.
I love a lot about sailing. I've been raised by the sea, so being on the water is amazing for me. I was raised in Quebec in a small village, and we would always go on the water with my dad, and I really, really, really enjoy that. I like it when the wind gets into the sail and actually propels us. And then we can shut off the engine, and it's quiet. I call it La Sainte Paix, which is holy peace. Mike and I first met when we were both in the military. How long have we been married? 28?
Since 94?
94, that's 28, right?
I guess it would have been in 1992 on the base in Greenwood when a beautiful young lieutenant arrived. It certainly piqued my interest. So after that, we went and started dating, and we were married about 2 years later.
Yeah, God was always a very big part in my life. It was very challenging all the years before he became a Christian himself, because we had different worldviews. So even, when we were raising the kids, anything that was questionable about life, we did not have the same view on it. But I only learned that he wasn't believing in God a week prior to the marriage. The first 8 years were really, really tough.
Well, I used to be an atheist until I was about 38 years old, and I thought all this Christianity, all this God thing was for weak people. There was no long-term goal in mind that was anything beyond myself. My worldview was certainly much more about me. It was much more short-term focused, much more internally focused. I had no desire really to help others, and I thought everything was on my control and on my shoulders. I was on a trip down to Nashville, Tennessee. I was thinking, I should buy something for Shirley on that trip. So I remember seeing this big Christian bookstore on the main drag in Nashville. And I went in, and to this day, I don't remember how I ended up with this book in my hand. The book was Case for a Creator by Lee Strobel. And it was the first time that I'd ever heard of a cogent case put forward for the existence of God. That ended up changing my world. It led me down a path to learn about God and to learn about Christ. Once I became a believer, now there was purpose in life. There was purpose in my life. And it reoriented how I was looking at myself, my role as a father, my role as a husband, my role in the world in a much bigger context. Before becoming a believer, I was certainly adrift. I was adrift philosophically, I was adrift morally. My life really did change and do a 180 degree once I became saved. Those different worldviews really were always causing us to go in different directions. Now, those directions almost always come together and they merge as one, and now we operate as a team. In so many ways in life, we cannot afford to be in different directions. When we operate the boat, we really have to work together as a team. In our Christian walk, we have to be together as a team. The ultimate aim is always the same. Christ is always that ultimate aim of making sure we do things for the kingdom. We know that that's the common ground that we have.
Our boat is named Pèlerin, and Pèlerin has two meanings in French. It means basking shark, but it also means pilgrim. And for us, pilgrim meant a lot. It represents who we are and where we're going in this life.
It's interesting as believers now to be on a pilgrimage. It isn't a pilgrimage and a destination just in the world that we see around us. There's a destination that's beyond that Christ talks about, that Scripture talks about, that this world is a foretaste. The beauty here is just a small molecule on our taste buds of what eternity will be. That's maybe in many ways the trajectory we're on. We can appreciate this world, but that appreciation only gives us a hunger for the world to come. Since I've been saved, I've never stopped trying to learn more and more about who God is, about His desire for my life. While we know our destination as part of our pilgrimage, there are just so many other people that we will meet along the way that have no idea what their ultimate destination is.